Well, Ilhan Omar got loomered. We love it when that happens. Let's take a look at the clip.
Congresswoman Omar, your newest colleague, coming in from New York, Chevalier, she has called to have people put their dirty hands on the American flag. Will you condemn it? Why do you Democrats hate America? You guys can't condemn your colleague calling on people to put their dirty hands on the American flag?
You Democrats, why do you hate America? That's a really good question. So Loomer's reporter there was asking about a young woman who's in her 30s who won a New York primary Tuesday night. Her name, I'm not going to get this right. I tend to read stuff instead of hearing it, so you'll get a great pronunciation here. Darializa Avila Chevalier. And she won the Democrat primary for New York's 13th congressional district Tuesday night. Now, she had talked about not having a napkin handy, so she just rubbed her hands on the American flag. That was a tweet that she posted a while back, and that's what this guy was asking about. But oh my gosh, her background is so much worse than just that. I want to walk you through it here. The first is that, and by the way, she's a daughter of Dominican immigrants. And of course, Mom Donnie endorsed her. So the first thing you need to know about this woman is that she helped found CUAD. That's Columbia University Apartheid Divestment. And this was a group that absolutely hates Israel and hates Jews. And so she helped found them. I want to read you a couple things that group has said in the past. Okay, here we go. They have explicitly called, I'm going to read this so we get it right. They've explicitly called for the, quote, total eradication of Western civilization. We're Westerners fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization. We stand in full solidarity with every movement for liberation in the global South. Our intifada is an internationalist one. We are fighting for nothing less than the liberation of all people. Well, the liberation of all people except Westerners and Jews, clearly. These guys have had CUAD. I've been calling them QAD. I don't know if that's right or not, but they've had fantastic other stuff saying that true divestment requires nothing short, this quote, nothing short of the total collapse of the university structure. Okay, I'm okay with that part. And American empire itself, not okay with that part. And they support actions to, quote, eradicate America as we know it. And of course, they have said some other charming stuff too. They've done some other charming things. Of course, they've posted death to America. It's so predictable at this point. Again, the founder of this organization just won the Democrat primary in New York and will get the seat because it's an overwhelmingly Democratic district. QAD Substack, they published a tribute to Yahya Sinwar. I think I've got that name right. That was the Hamas leader who planned out October 7th. And remember, if you're kind of squeamish, you might look away here for a second. Remember what they did on October 7th. They slaughtered civilians. They killed women. They raped women. They killed children. Women were found with grenades in their private parts. They were raped with objects. They were shot in their private parts. This is what happened on October 7th. These people idolize the guy who planned all of this out. And she would later go on October 8th to celebrate what had happened on October 7th in Times Square. She would go and celebrate that. She's personally supported, this is a convicted terrorist named, I hope I'm saying it right, O'Day. Rasmia O'Day, I think. So this was back when she was a student in 2014. O'Day was a Palestinian activist who was convicted in Israel of participating back in the 1969 supermarket bombing in Jerusalem. That was a bombing that killed 2 civilians. And the same woman also planted a bomb at the British consulate, so she's got that too. O'Day served a life sentence, and she ended up being released in a prisoner swap, later faced immigration fraud problems in the U.S. But Chevalier posted on Facebook saying, uh, help Resmia, help Resmia come home. So she wanted a terrorist bomber who killed innocent people and planted a bomb at the British consulate to come home. So yeah, lots of bad stuff there, but the fantastic stuff is her deleted tweets. When she started running for office, she deleted a ton of tweets, but thanks to the internet, we have them. The internet is forever. I want to walk you through some of her fantastic deleted tweets. I'm going to read these because there's so many of them and I can't hold them all in my head at one time. Okay, so let's see here. She said, trick question, Israel doesn't exist. So she just denies Israel exists. And these are quotes. A world without borders, just like a world without prisoners or police, is possible, necessary, and the only moral way forward. Yes, literally, abolish the border. All deportation is wrong. Here's another set. Seize the means of production. Of course, that's a communist mantra. She calls for seizing like landlords' property, nationalizing utilities, hospitals. She was really into that during COVID. On policing, she said, and I'm going to censor this a little bit. She said, F you, we're going to defund and abolish, ending policing full stop, period. No more police at all, ever. She also said, NYPD suck my blank, which she doesn't have because she's a woman, but anyway. And then, of course, she said in all caps, all pigs everywhere are haram, which means unclean for Muslims. She converted to Islam at some point. In an April 2020 post, she wrote that while most of the political theory she'd been interested in, she'd been reading was communist, get this, I'm going to quote, the pyromania associated with anarchism is very intriguing to me. That's what you want in an elected official, someone who likes pyromania, the burning down of the system of anarchism. During the nationwide protests back during George Floyd, she responded to a user who was who's asking for a better slogan, what a better slogan would be than defund the police. And she said, F you, we're going to defund and abolish. You don't get to water down our movements. And here's another one. In New York, they don't say, I love you. They say, NYPD suck my, again, we've got that. And she says, and I think that's beautiful. Then when the DNC sidelined Bernie in 2020, just like they were about to do with Joe Biden, actually, when they axed Bernie in 2020, she was a Bernie bro. This is what she said. This is for the DNC, you big fraudulent white nasty status quo blank. Why you took Bernie off the mother blank race with your trifling, dirty voter suppressing blank, you holding elections during a pandemic blank blank. That was in April 2020. And she was no fan of Kamala Harris either. Remember when Kamala really weakly said, this was back in 2021, she got up and she said, I'm telling you, if you're illegal, don't come to America. Don't come. So convincing. Chevalier did not like that. And she took to Twitter and posted, I have no nuance to add, blank Kamala Harris, starts with an F, blank Kamala Harris. All right, so this is who Democrats in New York have just elected. She's going to win the seat because it's an overwhelmingly Democrat district. She said all of this stuff, wants to destroy Western civilization, dirty the American flag with filth. And then she says all of this. Loomer's reporter goes to Ilhan Omar and says, hey, Ilhan Omar, what do you think about this? Will you condemn what she has said? And Ilhan Omar can't muster a single word. This is what, all the stuff we just went over, this is what the modern Democrat Party is like. This is what the future of the party looks like. It is absolutely insane, filled with hate, not just for Jews, not just for white people, but for America itself, for the West itself. If you are watching this video, there is a 99.9% chance this woman hates you, and she's going to be a lawmaker.